Taping me last. Screw this 15-second per slide thing. I'm up here all night, baby. Okay, how many of you have heard of the X Prize? How many of you have competed for an X Prize? All right, see, this is a damn good audience. I echo what John was saying. Don't get to do that very often. My name's Will. I work for the X Prize. I love what I do. I think I'm one of the luckiest people on the planet because I get to work at a really cool place. What we do is we offer incentive prizes for people who solve really hard problems. We did not by any means invent this idea. It actually dates back to the 1700s. This guy is one of the first people to ever win a prize. He won what was called the Longitude Prize. Highly recommend that you read the book Longitude by Davis Sobel. We'll tell the story. This vehicle, most of you probably recognize. There's a replica of it somewhere in this museum, as I recall. Charles Lindbergh flew this across the ocean in the early 1920-somethings. He did it in order to win a prize. It was built here in San Diego, exactly, by Ryanair. We got our start in the mid-90s when we offered up what eventually became known as the Ansari X Prize for suborbital spaceflight. This is a $10 million prize for the first privately funded company to put a person in space 2 times in 2 weeks. When this was first offered, as many of you well know, I see you shaking your heads, that was a laughable idea. That was just silly. I must admit, I was in the group who thought that idea was just silly. It was cute, but just silly. No one was ever going to win. Well, I'm happily going to eat crow. Someone win. You saw the picture. You've heard about in other talks. That vehicle now hangs in the main lobby of the Air and Space Museum in downtown Washington, D.C., right next to the Spirit of St. Louis. It's a nice story since those vehicles, that vehicle certainly inspired the prize that led to this vehicle. When that was won, it was a really big deal. We got sort of all the markers of the day. We had the Google Doodle. We were on the Daily Show. This is pre-Colbert Report, so Daily Show was about as cool as you could get, along with the Google Doodle. I was actually in Bangkok, Thailand, the day that this ship flew for the first time. It was front page news there. They don't cover space all that often. It was an inspiring story. Prizes work and have worked for 300 years or so for a lot of reasons. One of them is what you see right here. Generally speaking, if you consider all the teams competing for a prize, they will cumulatively spend about 10 times the prize value trying to win the prize. That is really nice in terms of leverage of your research and development dollars. It's parallel innovation. We are now taking that idea and we're extending way beyond suborbit and we're going all the way out to this guy right here. We think this idea that has worked so many times here on Earth will continue to work beyond then. Obviously, we've been to the moon before. I needn't tell people at an Air and Space Museum all about that. Just to remind you how big a freaking deal that was when we went the first time. I mean, I'm talking ticker tape parades. This does not happen for our NASA engineers anymore as much as they deserve it. When we didn't go all that many times. We weren't able to go to all that many places. Here's a map that shows you how much we've gone to. The analogy I've heard is we've explored a landmass about the size of Manhattan on a landmass about the size of Africa. So we really haven't seen very much of the moon. This is a good map. I'm a huge baseball fan. I don't know if any of you are Padres fans or anything else. That's how big the Apollo 11 site was. So we really didn't see all that much when we went there, right? We did a lot in a little, and then we stopped. And this has kind of been the story of lunar exploration for a while. It's a nice empty skyline with some leftover hardware there. We're really excited about going back. I don't care who gets us there. It'll be wonderful if NASA gets us there. It'll be wonderful if private industry gets us there. And I think private industry has a role to play in there. I think everyone in this room is familiar with the Northrop Grumman Lunar Lander Challenge. Indeed, many of you competed in it. This was a $2 million NASA-funded prize to start testing here on Earth the kind of rockets, rockets of the kind of class that will eventually be used to descend down to the lunar surface. Again, we have some of the folks responsible for this particular vehicle here in the room. We also have the teams who built some of these other vehicles, and in fact, we have one of the vehicles out in the pavilion, so I hope all of you have had a chance to look at that. This prize, we kicked off in 2006, completed it in November of last year. A wonderful success story for NASA, a great example, which this is really important as we consider the President's budget proposal, a great example of how NASA, traditional space, and Northrop Grumman and New Space can all sit down at the same table and everyone can leave very, very happy. In September 2007, we rolled out the Google Lunar X Prize at $30 million. This is the largest international incentive prize ever offered. Even if you convert that 1700s Longitude Prize into modern-day value, this prize is still bigger. Here are the rules in very quick summary. You've got to be privately funded, put a robot on the moon, have it move around for about 1/3 of a mile, beam back a gigabyte of HD video. It'll be the first time we've seen video coming back from the lunar surface since 1976. For those of us who don't watch Russian TV, it'll be the first time we've seen video from the lunar surface since 1972. This is a hugely global race. If you imagine what this map would have looked like during the 1970s, there would have been a big green thing in the United States and a big green thing in the Soviet Union. We're just about to announce a new team in this competition, which will take us up to 12 headquarters nations, teams competing, and team members working in about 75. Here's what some of the vehicles look like, and as you glance at those for a brief 15 seconds, you'll notice that we have a huge diversity of what these vehicles look like in addition to what the teams look like. That's really exciting to us because, again, people are going to do the long shot things, do the risky things that I wouldn't fund if I were only able to pay one team. But as long as I can put the money out there and it goes to whoever makes it work, people can take the long shots, and if they win, I win. So you can follow us online in 1,000,001 different ways. I have my social media manager, current and past, here in the room. They can tell you more about all these things. I know a lot of you are already following us on Twitter and Facebook. I want to thank all of you for doing that. You can keep following along with these. Send us questions. We're always happy to hear from you. And I left this slide up permanently. I gamed the system. This one doesn't advance after 15 seconds. So I can just keep going. No, that's it. So thank you very much.
So that actually concludes all of our presentations for the evening. If I can, just get a really quick, really quick round of applause for all of our presenters. Really quick, obviously not Eddie Izzard fans. So we are unfortunately running over on time, so we don't have a lot of time to give you guys to chat afterwards and ask questions to the presenters. But we do have, all of the presentations were recorded and are going to be on Spacevidcast.com. So if you just get to that site, you will see how to get to all of the different presentations you've seen this evening. And I think maybe we can try to get, contact information included with that as well. So if you have any follow-up questions, you can do that digitally. And also, we will be opening back up for breakfast and registration at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Sessions start at 9:30. So come and you'll have some time then to chat as well. And thank you all for coming out, and have a lovely evening. Oh, one more thing.
Hey, everyone, very quickly. I hope you were really inspired tonight. I thought there were some amazing talks. Bring that inspiration right back tomorrow. If there was a talk that just totally captured your imagination, go find that person and talk to them about maybe doing a panel tomorrow or making something incredibly awesome happen in more than 5 minutes. And, but yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. All right.